Can you hear me? Are you listening? Doesn't matter. Sit down, fire's still going. Sorry I can't do nothing about the rain, but at least I can try to get my mind off it. And yours, whoever you are. So last we met, our boys recovered some from their fight with the Chimera and a mysterious cloaked somebody. Kean and Henry went down to help with some healing and gather info on the group who stopped the train in its tracks, while Ox and Virgil looked to check on Orna. Virgil got lucky and she was still there. Some of the other mounts were stolen away. The boys spoke to their new hostage, captive, whatever you want to call them. Their name's Wasp. Turns out they're traveling with Ox's sister, Scar. Looking for true freedom, they say. Sounds nice. There are a few more days left before arriving in Freya, plenty of time to decide what to do with Wasp. But for tonight, Keen and Ox share a meal together, Henry takes a private evening in his room, and Virgil stays with Rowan, after an interesting dream he had last night. And the stars are still falling. It's hard sometimes telling these tales. It's hard sometimes to watch them and do nothing. Nothing's all I can do. You're listening, aren't you? I'm telling and you're listening. It's gotta be enough.
Ian and Ox, you watch everyone go off to their separate compartments. After, I believe, Virgil offers to dine with you, which Ox subtly implies that he does not want. You are seated in your train car with a decent meal delivered to you after all of the events of the day. Pleasantly surprised by the service. They bring a bottle of wine as well for the trouble you've been through.
Should we split this with everybody or just save it for ourselves?
Well, I figured nobody else would be joining us, so, I mean, why not?
Kian just goes ahead and pours himself and also Ox a pretty full glass.
Ox, after you pour him a little glass, we'll do a little, clink with your glass and take a sip and start eating some food and make casual conversation at first.
About midway through the meal, he will pause for a second. Do you think... Not to interrupt, but should we be checking in on Wasp every once in a while?
Yeah, probably best to check up on them every few hours, at least. They're, probably gonna be wanting some dinner soon.
I think they might be sending dinner. I feel like we requested that, but I'm not sure. Just give me a second, and Keen will pop in to Marigold Vision. And
Wasp is sitting up straight, kind of looks like a regular passenger, if not for, I believe, their hands are tied, their ankles are tied, and they are bound to one of the support beams, just the back of the compartment in the corner. But they're just looking out the window, minding their own business.
have you gotten any food yet?
They turn to look at Marigold. They don't even jump. Not yet, no.
Okay, we'll send someone on their way soon, then.
They glance over their own shoulder and back to Marigold. Shrug. No use sending it if there's no way for me to eat it.
We'll figure something out for you, I promise.
They nod.
And Keen will jump back in. I don't really have a way to eat tied up like that.
Yeah,
It feels kind of bad.
It, makes sense. I guess somebody should probably be in there with him, not to feed him or anything, just to untie him and keep an eye on him while they eat, and then tie him back up and check on him again in a few hours.
We'll finish our dinner here and make sure somebody is free to do that.
Yeah.
This is so romantic, you guys.
Yeah.
You know how we have to
Talk
babysit
about-
a criminal?
This is weird. This whole train ride.
Yeah, I've never really been on this end of it.
I have, sort of, I guess. But I've never been on a train that was attacked before.
Yeah, I've only ever done the attacking on the trains, really.
Kian looks a little surprised at that. You attacked a train?
Well, I guess attacked is sort of a strong word, but maybe more like ambushed?
Do we hurt people on the train?
Not typically. I mean, back in the day, we'd fire some warning shots, which usually scares people enough that they're willing to do just about anything you say.
So, kind of the goal was to get stuff?
Yeah, money, possessions, anything of value.
Kian winces, nods.
It was a long time ago. I was a kid when I did it. It's not really something I'm interested in anymore.
Well, you met Lachlan. I'd be lying if I said we didn't do some similar things. I like to think... No, I know that we were doing it for particular reasons. This attack feels like they were just doing it for themselves.
Do you think any of the members in there might be former Winds? How often do people leave the Winds?
Kian sits up. So I saw something that they did market the car. They used our symbol, but different. It's kind of mirrored. No one left when I was... Well, I don't think anyone would have joined them, been able to. It's not really a thing people do, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong, but it always kind of felt like a family.
There, weren't any black sheep of the family?
Not when I was there.
Well, at least we know Scar's with him. That tells me half of what I need to know about what they're doing on the trains.
It does make me nervous.
I wonder if she's encountered anybody on her way around. Or maybe if she's seen the symbol of the Winds, trying to co-opt it, I guess.
Usually not super noticeable unless you're really looking for that kind of thing. But if she was going around in similar circles, I could see how she would find it somewhere. And she was talking to Simone.
How well connected is Simone to the Winds?
Honestly, I don't know. Well, I think Ophelia and Lachlan think of her as a friend. And, you know, she's got good information. But I'm not sure what they tell her about what we're doing. We were doing.
Can I ask you what you were doing?
For best.
Yeah. Sure, I mean, doing plenty of things. Helping people, mostly.
How exactly?
But I mean, sometimes people have a bit too much power. Try to knock them down a few pegs.
Ox sort of smirks a little at that. Yeah, I can respect that.
It's kind of hard to live that way, I think. Consistently, that could get you in trouble, but we like to help people leave islands that you can't really leave, get in islands that you can't really get into, transport people if they can't afford a train, and sometimes steal from people who have a bit too much money.
Ox's eyes sort of soften a little.
Sounds gay, man.
I don't know, man. That sounds pretty fucking gay or something. You're a type I wish I'd met a while ago then. Done a lot of horrible things before, but I've been trying to make amends best I can.
You seem like a good person. I know you're a good person. I think the Winds can help a lot of people. I wish they could have been there for you.
He reaches across the table to sort of stroke it. Keen's
Can you try again one more time?
yeah, to just stroke it, Keen.
You got this.
He reaches across the table to run his fingers across Kian's knuckle. You notice that Ox usually keeps his gloves on. He takes them off during most meal times and usually whenever he's relaxing. So they're off right now. And as he runs his fingertips across Kian's knuckles, they're very rough, calloused.
Kian sort of freezes and looks down, looks back up. I think he puts his other hand on top of Ox's. Ox, just wondering, maybe we should talk about this. What are your intentions?
His right ear twitches a little bit. Well, I don't think it'll really come as a surprise that I sort of fancy you. I'm not really looking for anything serious. Maybe just some company.
Kian smiles, looks back down at their hands, back up to him. It's a pretty nice idea, but I'm not sure. I don't want to hurt you. If all you're looking for is a bit of fun, that's fine. I don't know if Lachlan will ever reach out again, but I'm waiting for that. As long as you know that, I'll follow until I can't anymore. You know? Just think you should know that.
Ox nods. I appreciate the honesty. I'm more than fine with just being strung along for a little while.
I'm gonna have Kian roll an insight check at that. An 18.
So you don't say what you roll, and you get to decide if it's deception or persuasion.
He says it in a very casual tone. He seems mostly truthful about it. Maybe a hint of sadness.
I'm gonna put this in your hands. Kian doesn't pull away.
As Kian is unconvinced, Hux's fingers sort of twitch under yours, and he looks at you seriously for a moment. There's someone I'm waiting for, but I think it'll be a long time until I see him again. So, until then, I'm just looking for some casual company.
Kian nods, smiles, and then he'll lean in for a kiss.
And Ox will also lean in for a kiss.
I won D&D.
Kian's winning.
And the first one to
Kiss Virgil.
kiss Virgil.
Well, 2 down, 1
And
to
yeah, so Henry,
Rowan.
despite leaning in first, Kian is definitely very hesitant. And I think that hesitance goes away pretty quickly, but at least this might not be something that is really tangible, but I think there's a part of him that doesn't believe that both of them are going to be really okay with this. He's still enjoying it for the moment and kind of trying to push that away.
Ox doesn't notice Kian's hesitance, really. Once Kian starts to lean in and Ox is given the go-ahead, he's pretty passionate about the kiss. He seems confident here, maybe confidence that you don't normally see, but he doesn't take it too far.
You hear Henry from the other room. Mediocre!
Kian, at some point, would kind of pull back. You are welcome to stay the night if you'd like.
Oh. You see Ox's right ear twitch a little.
That's the gay ear.
Yeah, I like that.
Does he find Ox there like Sokka?
I mean, you don't not find Ox there like Sock. I think Ox, when you come back, is much more casually dressed. He doesn't have on his belt or his chaps. Yeah,
The important stuff.
the important stuff is that Ox is just like dressed down a little. Maybe some more buttons on his shirt have been unbuttoned, but still very respectable.
That's
Or
what D&D is all about. Kian and Ox, after doing whatever it is you do that evening, you both sleep and get a full rest. Henry, I assume you also get a full rest. And Virgil, you do wake up in the middle of the night from this dream, Rowan leaning against your shoulder. Do you go back to sleep?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, then you can mark a short rest.
Okay.
Henry, what time have you been waking up on the train? Do you still wake up at, what is it, like 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Rather close to your wake up time, the sending stone starts to glow. You're certain there's no celestial whatsoever? Doesn't normally affect others? This curse? Shall I ask your parents?
I suppose you could ask them, but if so, don't think it would come from them. Anything specific I should know?
And the light fades, and you must wait another day before you can find out what it is about this curse you should be paying attention to. It's too bad you don't have sending.
And what was it she said before? It was like she's seen this curse on a mushroom?
She found something that looks a lot like this curse in an illustrated book, mycology or botany text. And that's all the detail you really could get in the short message. Maybe just as the sun is starting to rise. Still fairly early in the morning, though a long time after he fell asleep before dinner. Rowan stirs, realizes he's leaning on you, and sits up. Looks a little confused.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It's
It's okay.
What time is it?
It's still very early. How did you sleep?
All right.
Can I ask if you had any dreams?
Was I? Not that I can recall, no.
Okay. I did, but I don't know what to make of them. I just wondered if you had tried to share anything else besides the light and your vision.
He leans back, pushes his hair back. What happened?
I don't know. I woke up feeling different. I got the feeling that you tried to share your ancestry. At least part of it. Do I look any different?
He looks you up and down. A small smile forms on his face. He shakes his head. Well, you look a bit tired. That's not completely surprising after you spent a night sitting here.
Nothing unusual.
I fucking knew it. Sorry. That Rowan isn't. I've said this from day one. I'm just gonna say I was correct. Thank you.
Well, sort of.
I'm correct.
He looks at you again, Virgil, and shakes his head. He's starting to look a bit concerned. Do you feel all right?
Does he feel any different?
You feel something new, but it's not necessarily good or bad. It's just different. Maybe you're imagining it. Maybe it's because you just spent a good maybe 8 hours with Rowan at your side. But you think you might feel a little bit warmer.
Like I said, I feel different. Not quite so cold.
Good.
Do you feel alright?
Yeah.
Insight check him. 10.
He doesn't look any different from before. You should go back to your compartment.
Yeah, okay.
before the others wake up.
Alright, I'll see you then. And he goes to stand up.
I think Rowan stands up behind Virgil and lets him go, but sort of peers over his shoulder as he opens the door to see if anyone else is there in the hallway. And he kind of mutters to you, "It's not very professional. We didn't even use the bed."
There's still time. And he will leave and shut the door quietly.
As you shut the door, you hear him, "That is not what I meant." And when you all meet for breakfast, most of you come from your own respective door. So, as you all gather for breakfast, the attendants again bring you a meal to eat. You have a few days before you arrive in Freya. During this time, you can relax as you please. You can also speak more to Wasp.
Actually, out of game. Like, what is our plan? Have we?
I think we were all fairly on board with letting them go, like following through, and having your ranger buddies track them if possible. If not, then someone from Dawning.
All right. Then over breakfast, Keen will just mention there's some things that I would like to ask Wasp. Would maybe be better if it was just us.
Okay. Like, what exactly?
So yesterday, it's kind of the middle of things, so I didn't have a chance to bring it up, but they marked the train with, and he'll just draw out the mirrored symbol and put that in the middle of the table. So they marked it with this, but the one right over here, that's the wind symbol.
Are you suggesting perhaps that they're trying to pose as the winds? Deflect blame onto them?
I'm not sure.
If that was the case, you'd think they'd carve it correctly. This seems pointed, though in what way I don't know.
What?
Okay.
That's what I thought. If they know about the symbol, it'd be really easy to just parade around as the winds if they wanted to. But they're doing their own thing. Want to know why?
There's no chance of affiliation, is there? You must have met quite a lot of folks, you and your friends.
Nina heard the story. She's one of the ones who got Lachlan caught up in jail.
Are they then perhaps an adversary?
I mean, I would think so, but it's not something that I was hearing about before, or that Ophelia warned us about. It's new, it's gotta be new.
Have we ever really discussed at length Scar's potential motives for getting Lachlan specifically thrown in jail?
No, maybe we should have.
Can do that now.
Keen looks down at his hands. No, we're not really on best of speaking terms, so Wasp might be a quicker option if they'll talk to me.
Should we completely discount Aelin?
Of course, I'm not gonna discount Aelin. I just don't know if I can fix that so quickly, because I'm not really sure what exactly needs to be fixed, but I want to try. They let me use magic yesterday, so it's not that bad. I will ask now, I guess. Keen just leans back and
Falls asleep.
yeah, he'll just sort of an in-between of fully being in a dream state and kind of like more daydreaming, but just entering his mind and trying to reach out to them.
Okay, Sherlock Holmes, you go into your mind palace.
So,
You take a moment to meditate, basically, and try to call out to Aelin. The connection isn't usually as strong this way as it is when you are asleep and in a dream state, but it has worked in the past to at least contact them. And it's almost like you reach out your hand to them and you feel it slapped away.
so yeah, Kian just jolts back in seconds after.
That was quick.
No, they didn't even let me speak that time, so
It's really that bad.
I don't know. I didn't think it was.
Maybe they just need a bit more time to cool down enough to talk.
They're sometimes a bit confusing to deal with, because time means less to them in some ways, but also, what if I'm not trying hard enough? If I let it sit for too long? So, I think Wasp is our best chance.
Okay, let's maybe give Aelin a day, some time, and we can talk to Wasp in the meantime.
You should perhaps come with some kind of, I don't know, not like you can really gift physical things, but offering, I suppose, to bridge the space between it. They are, forgive me, but they're rather childish, I think, in many aspects. Bribery works well with children, I'm just saying. So yes, Wasp. We will speak with Wasp today, and...
Have you ever tried to give Aelin something physical? Can they take it to their plane? We've seen them come to ours. So, theoretically, right, they could take a gift.
Maybe.
What do you know of their likes, their interests?
I might have something. We'll see. I'll try that tonight. Thank you for the suggestion. I'll work on it. Let's just hope that my magic keeps working for now.
Well, if it doesn't, you are quite handy with a blade.
Yeah, I'll just have more practice.
Hello, Virgil speaking. I'd like to say a few words if you'll permit me your time. Thank you for listening to Spare the Crying. Your support means a lot to us. If you'd like to find me or my companions, you can reach us on social media at linktree/sparethecrying. We'd love to hear from you. Please feel welcome to leave a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube streams. We also have a Discord server where you can discuss the story so far with us, or speak with like-minded souls about your own TTRPG experiences. In regards to our soundtrack, our background music is by Marika Shans and our intro is by Ben McElroy. Our official art is by yours truly. You can find me at Croqueen on Twitter. That said, allow me to bid you farewell for now. Please join us next time as we shepherd in a new dawn.
There's a hesitant knock at the door that quickly turns into a rapid knock.
You will look to the group and then open it.
You open it to one of the attendants of the train, an older human woman who looks sort of puzzled at you and then to the rest of you over Kian's shoulder. Your hostage wants to speak with you?
That's incredibly convenient timing. We'll take the opportunity right now.
They said to tell you it's quite urgent. Is everything okay? I should ask before you do so.
Everything's fine. Breakfast was wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, we'll make our way over.
And Virgil will stand.
I guess it's only one person, but do you need some backup?
I think we can handle ourselves pretty well. We did fight a chimera.
That's true. Sorry. And she steps aside.
Yeah, we make our way to the compartment where we have kept our little wasp.
Is Ox quiet through this whole conversation?
Yeah, Ox has
Okay.
been pretty quiet.
What is he doing?
Is he making eyes at Kian?
I mean, he has thrown some glances at Kian, but nothing suspicious. No more glancing at Kian than he would do on a normal day.
Anyway, you find them sitting on the bench where you left them. Across from them sits Marigold. Again, they're sitting up straight, holding themselves just like any other passenger, and turn as you all come in and sort of basically gesture with their chin. It's the only movement they can really do to motion for you all to come inside.
I think they all do so.
Yeah. The attendant said it was urgent.
One of you,
have something connected to her, don't you? Scar,
Why are you asking?
you've done a good turn to me. I feel like I should do the same for you. She's gonna find you with that.
Saves us the trouble of finding her.
They laugh. You don't want her to find you.
No, you misunderstand the situation. We were intending to find her regardless.
Yeah, sure, you don't want her to find you.
I don't really think the distinction is particularly relevant.
I get it. It's rather a good plan to sneak up on someone rather than have them sneak up on you. Especially if they have magic.
Yeah, she knows a handful of spells, but
Handful of spells?
what sort of magic has she been sporting recently?
She certainly knows more than a handful of spells. They're not something to be dismissed with a wave of your hand.
Then I think it's better if we have at least some sort of an upper hand when we find her. Not to get caught unawares. Thank you.
Yeah, well, she's pissed at me too, so looking out for both of us.
Oh, so you realize then, I take it perhaps a little bit, I was telling you the truth last night.
He smells blood in the water.
They shrug.
Henry just looks pleased with himself.
I'm sure he does.
He's got a great smug face.
Do you still intend to reunite with your group if Scar is so displeased?
They sigh and sort of slump back against the bench. Well, I don't know what options are going to be available to me. It's kind of up to you, isn't it?
Think she would have an option for you to go back.
Yeah, probably. If I can make up for this.
Kian pulls out the piece of paper with the two symbols on it, folds it in half, just so the nega wins. I need something else to
The
call them.
anti-wins.
The reverse twins.
Yeah.
The wins with a Z.
The I is a 1.
He'll just slide it over. This symbol, what does it mean?
It's us.
Do the winds mean anything to you?
Yeah, it's us.
No, it's not.
Alright.
It's the full name then.
They don't say anything.
Kian will sigh, flip the paper over. What does this symbol mean to you then?
They squint at it. Fucked up our symbol?
Never seen it before.
I don't think so.
I'll
This
insight
one.
check them.
The side that they're saying they've never seen before, is that the
The Wandering Winds.
regular winds?
Yes.
Not the
he
nega
showed
winds.
he showed the nega wind symbol first.
Okay, that's what I thought at first.
I rolled a 12.
You're inside checking if they've ever seen that symbol before, if it looks familiar to them.
Yeah.
They kind of stare blankly at it. It kind of seems like it almost takes a half second for them to figure out what the difference is. Seems honest enough.
How long have you been using this symbol?
They were already using it when I joined. I'm relatively new to the group. It's been a few months. Why do you care so much about the symbol? I didn't make it up.
It's less of a matter of caring intensely deeply about this symbol and more of trying to figure out if Scar is just mean and unimaginative.
I don't know what to tell you.
If it's before your time, it's not as though there's necessarily much you can tell. How public are you with your wins branding?
It's usually just to mark important places, important things. And we don't tend to advertise it to just anyone. It seems you already know it.
Kian will just pull up his sleeve and he'll tap twice on his arm and the tattoo will show up. See, this was here before. See that you're messing up with someone else's symbol.
If you got a problem with it, I'm not the right person to talk to. Sorry I ripped off your tattoo.
I just want to know what's going on.
I think I've told you plenty.
Kian, not to side with Woz, but I don't know if they're really the person to ask. I imagine the only one who's going to have any answers is the ringleader.
Maybe. Maybe you're lying to us. I don't know.
Or perhaps if we knew where to find her, we could ask her.
I'm not going to go sharing the symbol or your name. I just want to know what you're called. I promise I'll keep it to myself. Just need to know. You want me to roll a persuasion?
Yeah.
They would resist Kian's cute little face.
May asks with a smile on their face.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a
so-
really high persuasion.
Let's see.
Something
36.
ridiculous.
31.
That's close.
Oh, shit. Is that the highest roll we've had so far in the campaign?
Probably, yeah.
Your
Everyone's
proficiency
pretty
went
good.
up. I promise I won't tell anyone. I need to know.
They shrug again. Kind of looks like they don't really care anymore about keeping up this game. Winds change. We were called something else until about 5 minutes ago, and then Neil said that as a joke, and I liked it better.
Keen just sort of relaxes back into his seat, shakes his head. Thank you. We need to talk to Scar and find her.
Don't suppose you'd be willing to help with that, since you've been so generous?
She reaches out to me, I can say something back, but I don't have that kind of ability.
Did she reach out already?
Yeah, of course she did. I didn't show up.
Well, you've helped us. We can't do everything for you. What's your ideal scenario out of this?
Ideal? You get rid of whatever it is that she's using to track you down. I don't mind if you take it back after I'm gone, but I don't want to be anywhere near her when she finds you. And of course, you just let me go in the ideal world.
Right. Unless anybody else has any other questions.
Alright. Wasp just turns to look out the window. And you all head out?
So do we want to discuss the object she is tracking us with? Because I think we all know what it is, yeah?
Ox will pull out the chamber of shine out of his bag. They're sitting inside Kian's car again. Yeah, he'll set it on the table.
Keen will dig through the bag of holding and also pull that out, put it on the table.
If we put that, and he'll gesture at the chamber, in the bag as well, is it still trackable, do you think? With this magic?
It's another plane. I think that was the idea of why we put this one in there.
Can I make an Arcana or History check? Something.
But Arcana
I have a
is
plus
in
4.
still.
Yeah.
Plus 4.
Yeah.
Do you want to roll twice?
Sure.
We all look to Henry.
22?
As far as you know, with most methods of tracking, magical or otherwise, it would probably make it harder to track. If someone is highly powerful, there's a chance that like a higher level spell basically might be able to find it, but it's significantly more unlikely.
I think as long as they're in the bag of holding, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. I don't know, as long as Scar hasn't ascended to another plane, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Okay, so it goes in the bag.
Immortality. Seems a little strange that she would make that their mission if she had found it.
Sorry, are you saying if she had found immortality already?
Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know.
Or she needs followers to maintain that immortality.
We could ask her.
Ox, you've never tried to directly contact Scar, have you?
No, don't really have a way.
But I do. She just takes the device out, puts it on the table. That's why we thought maybe she was Fae related in some way, whether that's a vampire or something else. But she doesn't know who I am, supposedly. At this point, she might.
She's probably most likely to respond to you. Directed towards Ox.
Yeah. Might surprise her.
I think it would. She wouldn't expect it.
Do we want to go poking the bear? She is already hunting you. She already seems pretty mad. All I'm saying is if we are going to contact her, we should have a damn good reason.
Could always say something to try and draw her out, you know? Make her think that you've got some path to immortality. Henry glances at Kian as he says this.
We have a twink.
The twink is the key to immortality.
The immortal twink.
Some of their immortality will rub off on you, surely. Well, I think unless we've got something we really want to ask her, then let's lay off for now.
If we want to use it to draw her to a certain location, we need to make sure we have the lay of the land. We don't do this arbitrarily.
And I suppose it would probably complicate whatever business we're about to get ourselves into.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
Assuming those two items don't overlap, due to circumstances outside of our control, and by circumstances outside of our control, I of course mean Scar.
So we just gotta be careful. We have 2 days to think about things before we get to Freya. She will know that we're going there.
We are on the train to Freya, I don't know where else we would go.
Unless we want to just jump off, but that seems like a bad idea.
Generally, yeah.
If we're worried about her finding us, I think we could probably try to stop the train. Get off early. This might not be the safest thing to do, but it's not... Could be something to bring up to Rowan.
I'm not sure if the benefits outweigh the cost of a delay. Especially being out in the oceans. Yes, it is a ley line, but if she is to catch us, I'd rather be in the walls of a city with potential assistance.
And under the protection of a guardian.
Yes.
Right, then.
We just keep an eye out. Try to stick together.
Mention anything unusual?
Do we let Rowan know?
I think we have to. It is a very real threat, and it, as you say, Henry, may very well interfere with our mission. He should know.
Kian's silent for a second. He looks to Virgil. Do you need an excuse to talk to him?
I'm not sure that I do.
Saying you could be the one to tell him? If you wanted.
Okay. I mean, I would be glad to, but it doesn't need to be a one-on-one thing. He might be a little bit sick of that.
It might make more sense to do a briefing, make sure nothing is missed.
If you would like a proper briefing about the mission, I'm sure that can be arranged. We are growing nearer.
I'll go get Rowan then. I can talk to Rowan too, politely. Henry's already getting
I believed you and then you specified.
It's too late, he's gone.
Ah, okay.
Ox sits himself next to Kian. That's it.
Should I? I'm gonna supervise.
Virgil follows Henry.
He does not want a third wheel.
Door shuts
They were
behind
just-
Virgil and you're left alone. Just the two of them. Was there... it's okay if that was it. Was there something...
That was literally
it. That was it.
Like,
Okay,
Ox was just gonna sit next to
Okay, cool.
Kian and
Then-
not do anything else.
Okay,
It
cool.
was like, okay.
So with Henry in the lead, you two walk over to Rowan's.
Henry, in his fashion, gives a couple confident knocks on Rowan's door.
Come in.
Hello, Rowan. We were discussing, and, well, there's a couple of relevant items that have come up that may or may not affect the mission, for which we are also missing the entire brief on, and we thought now might be an appropriate time to go over these matters, if you're free.
Rowan actually has the table unfolded and what looks like, it's a notebook in front of him. He stands up. Yes, that would be a good time, actually. I was thinking you are all already together.
Kian will just poke his head out.
Rowan glances down the hallway and sees and nods. He just walks onto the hallway. He has the notebook and a book bag at his side. Walks into, I think you're in Kian's compartment. Rowan stays standing at the head of the table and places the notebook down and takes a few maps out of the book bag. I don't know how much you all know about Freya, so please let me know if any of this is old news to you, and if you have any questions as well, feel free to ask. We should have a friendly enough greeting there. It is a more open island, one of the earliest formed after the downfall. the Phoenix Island has a positive relationship with Fenanita and the island itself. We trade freely along this line, and well, they're our main point of communication with both Suilis and Rusul overseas, so try to hold yourself in your highest manner. We want to leave a good impression. The Guardian is Oberon, a force to be reckoned with, but we are as well, so we will be allowed free entrance under Fenanita's care, as we are working in service for her. I don't expect any issues, but I should give the warning if any of us do step out of line and disrespect the lands or the creatures that live there, we will be facing consequences under the ruling of Freya, not under the Phoenix Island. Oberon is known to have no qualms against turning people to animals and keeping them there, if determined they deserve that fate. So, behave. He reaches forward and picks up one of the maps. And to the left side of the map is a wall or a line that's labeled Freya bordered. And then what looks to be about 2 miles out is a marshland that also has some buildings dotted throughout. The area we will be investigating used to be part of Freya before the oceans took over and they had to shrink the lands that the Guardian was protecting. There are some abandoned buildings still standing, though they are quickly decaying, and plenty of marshes and caves that we will likely have to explore. The main goal is to at least learn as much as possible about what happened here and if a creature itself is causing it. And if we can deliver that information back, that will be considered good enough. However, if we can destroy the source of the problem, that would be ideal. The traveling will most likely not be pleasant or easy, especially with the spring rains and the snowmelt, and we'll have to be aware of flooding when we head underground. As far as how to get underground, there are plenty of entrances. We have a few marked here, and he points at 3 dark red spots on the map. But it has been many years since these ruins were explored properly, and we may accidentally or on purpose find more.
Sorry, are you planning on going with us now then? It wasn't always set in stone before.
If you will have me, yes. I have been given clearance to do either.
I think we'd love to have a 5th person. 4 is not the best number out there. For a multitude of reasons.
For superstitious reasons, or?
Both.
I do believe, from what I've seen of the 4 of you, are perfectly capable of this sort of mission on your own.
We would appreciate the help. These are dangerous lands.
Well, he looks to Henry and Ox and smiles. If you wish me to accompany you, I will, but I understand if you don't.
I mean, I'd hate to be the one to separate you.
Virgil just gives him a look.
There is a long pause as Rowan clearly searches for the right thing to say.
In that long pause, Ox will butt in with, I think we'd all feel better if we had a 5th person with us.
All right, just that then. Do you have any specific questions about this?
This source, is there anything in particular you believe it might look like, or?
Unfortunately, no. We are fairly certain it is from underground. We believe in one of the central caverns. The city extends underground, or it used to extend underground. So it is not just nature. There are man-made tunnels, structures.
So, we'll be going underground, then?
Yes.
Am I remembering wrong, or was there some sort of reports of potential undead in the area?
Potentially, yes. The speed of decay has increased in these ruins, which could be a sign of undead presence.
As in nature itself?
How do you mean?
Is it that the lands are corrupted, or is it that dead things are simply decomposing faster?
It seems the ruins are decomposing faster. The wooden structures, the supports holding up the caves, the old walls as well have been crumbling at surprising speeds.
Okay, it's a start.
If I may ask something of a peculiar question, it might not necessarily be but relevant to the mission itself. Are there any... And I don't want to prompt you in any particular direction, but are there any popular rumours surrounding this set of ruins? Interesting folk tales or folklore, etc.?
I'm sure there is, but I don't know the local stories. The accepted tale of it is not terribly exciting, simply that the oceans grew too strong. Or perhaps Oberon was not as powerful as he believed, though that is perhaps not something you should say within his lands. Or perhaps whatever it is that we are hunting was not worth the trouble of keeping within the walls.
You say that almost as if the thing has a consciousness.
There are plenty of things in the oceans that have consciousness. Have you not experienced that?
No, I've definitely experienced that. I suppose I had just generated an image in my mind of something that was, non-sentient.
There is a chance of that. Again, it is mostly unknown what it is we will be facing.
You want to get this done as quickly as possible, right?
Is there a reason to take it slow?
Not exactly. I guess you should be caught up on this as well. My patron's not exactly talking to me at the moment. It doesn't seem to be affecting my magic in any way, but I have 2 days on the train to fix that.
Rowan's going to sit down next to Virgil on the bench, across from Kian. It did not seem to affect... Well, I suppose I wouldn't know. You seemed plenty strong. I suppose is what I'm saying. In our battle previously, if you're unable to contact your patron, will that affect this or your safety?
It shouldn't. But they've never been this mad at me before. It's a relief they didn't take away my magic yesterday. Makes me feel like they probably wouldn't if I was in any danger.
Well, if you can, while we are still on the train, that would be ideal, obviously, for everyone, including yourself.
I'll do my best.
I would prefer not to delay once we arrive, and I don't think we are expected to delay.
I'm pretty good at a sword, if something happens.
You had a good teacher.
I did.
Smiles. Are there any other questions?
Well, not a question, but I've mentioned that there's a piece of information which we should share with you. It's relevant to the subject of delays, potential delays. In our interrogation, secondary interrogation of Wasp, we were made privy to the potential for the appearance of Scar, the leader of, well, the organisation calls themselves the Winds of Change. You familiar at all?
I'm sorry, what? What interrogation?
It wasn't an interrogation. It was more, they requested to speak with us over breakfast and said it was urgent.
Right. No, I am not familiar.
Frankly, we're not either, but we are familiar with the leader, Scar. We've had our own run-ins with her. Nothing in particular, but I wanted you to be aware that to be on the lookout for anything unusual, anything resembling... Well, if you were to dress Ox as a woman, that's what she looks like.
We have reason to believe she knows we are on our way to Freya, and she may try to hunt us down, and...
Right. And how does she know this? Her friend in the compartment?
No. Look, I have rather solid reasoning to believe that the whole attack on the train seemed quite targeted. I mean, you heard Wasp say that they were told to look for interesting persons. I believe any one of us could fit that bill.
So are you asking for protection?
Not necessarily. I think we're just letting you know that there's that happening as well.
Noted.
Don't want another surprise to bite you.
Okay. In regards to the threat she might pose, we have discovered that she is capable of very powerful magic. I have reason to believe she can use a firearm. We don't know about the rest of her gang.
Kind of looks like he's not entirely listening to you. He glances at Kian.
Kian probably immediately blushed.
He looks away, back down at the papers, and sort of nods as Virgil talks. Well, we are going out into the oceans. We are going somewhere that, well, it won't be easy or pleasant to follow us, so hopefully that will throw her off your trail.
Yes, and they won't be able to take mounts through the swamp.
They can get over to the edges of the swamp a lot faster, given that they...
Yeah, I think we're just maybe getting ahead of ourselves with all sorts of things that could go wrong. We're probably fine. Just want you to know.
It is good to know, thank you. I will keep it in mind. He looks over to Ox. I will keep an eye out. But I do think we should focus on the mission ahead, if you can try. If you have plans again to conduct an interrogation, I hope you will come to me. I know I have been perhaps a bit distant from all of you, and I apologize for that. But I would like to, especially now that I will be joining you the entire way, remain together for this mission.
But, of course, I mean, Rowan, please, this one wasn't a matter of a lack of trust for you, but think of it from the perspective of Wasp, who's easier to talk to for people who are perhaps mercenaries or hired by the leader of the Dawn Ship, well, not the leader, but you know what I mean, an important commander, and you can be a very intimidating presence for a criminal.
I'm sure you can be plenty intimidating yourself, but I suppose I understand. Still, I ask that you tell me next time beforehand. If it is deciding I should not be there, I can wait outside, and I will still be able to hear what is happening.
Of course.
I'll keep that in mind.
Is that a problem?
No.
Okay, insight check here.
Can I also insight check Henry? Awful.
24.
Oh,
That's my boy.
well, what does Rowan get?
Henry's also good at...
Whether or not it is or is not a problem is circumstantial, or seems circumstantial.
Okay. He sort of stares at Henry for a moment, shakes his head, but he's smiling. Anyways, it sounds as if there's not much more we can do about the situation with Scar. Would you like me to inform the officials at Freya that they should be on the lookout for this person?
No. She can be very slippery.
Keeping an eye out wouldn't be that bad, would it?
Either way, she's probably gonna be in disguise.
I still think it does not hurt to tell them.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for anyone suspicious.
Alright.
That's pretty much it then, but is it alright if we let the hostage go? At the end of all this.
I can quite assure you they will be followed.
What? The hostage?
Followed, not directly by us,
Like we talked about with trying to use them to track her.
Look at it this way, Rowan. They're not people that are associated or hired by you, so if it succeeds, then that information can be benefited towards yourself and the people of Dawning. If it fails, there's nothing to it.
Roll a persuasion. Both Kian and Henry roll persuasion.
18.
27. It's plus 13.
That's expertise,
Yeah,
baby.
yeah.
15 is
Oh,
the
it's the lowest
lowest
you
he
can
can roll if he doesn't roll an at
Yeah.
one.
Alright. If you think this will be helpful, I suppose I don't see why not. As long as you report back to me about your findings, the events that took place on the train, myself and the other commanders will be expected to do something about it.
We will keep you informed.
Thank you.
And I don't really have anything else to add. I'm ready to go.
I did actually have one question. I wasn't entirely sure what kind of resources were brought along for our trip, but I did have a question or two regarding my specialties in Fae, and I happen to have a question regarding celestial beings. If you happen to have anything related to that, any knowledge of self. We don't have to talk now. It could be privately later if you have a book or something.
I don't have a book on me, I'm afraid, but I have some knowledge of the subject. What's your question?
Just, if it's you would pass down through lineage, if you could have parents that are secretly celestial, or if not, if you're a regular mortal person, if you
Where is this coming
suddenly-
from?
It's just something Umbra mentioned offhandedly.
About what?
Celestial relations.
Yes, you've said that. What is the question you were actually asking?
Henry looks corner. So, Umbra is assisting me with looking into the whole curse business, and they got back to me in part. The conversation is rather slow because we're working through a sending stone, and I'm sure you know how that can be.
Yes.
25-word conversations. What she mentioned was that it seems to really only affect people who are, in some way, celestial. Which is unusual because I'm quite certain neither of my parents fall under that category unless there's something that I don't know about, and I'm not sure if it's something you couldn't not know about. I grew up with these people.
Like Celestial in particular, or Asimar?
The only thing she said was celestial. There might be more clarification tomorrow, I'm not sure. Again, the 25-word conversations.
So you're asking if celestial lineage is passed down through the parents?
Yes. Or, I suppose more targetedly, if I could be celestial and not realize it?
He looks like he's thinking about it. I think it would be difficult to go this long without the lineage manifesting in one way or another. It could be very distant and therefore fainter, weaker in a sense.
So, like when you hatched, did you have any magic?
When he
Was
what?
it, you know?
No.
When you hatch?
No, yes, you said that part, Kian. I'm just...
What do you mean by hatched?
Kian looks confused.
I'm sorry.
Like
Like out of an egg?
everybody
No.
hatches.
No, everyone does not.
At least it's not a misconception exclusively about tieflings. I wasn't sure how to take that sort of thing. It's not really something I've encountered before myself. I've heard people sometimes being, a little so-so. And
Is that a celestial thing?
Rowan nods.
Are you serious?
wait a second.
It's only a celestial thing.
Rowan's a celestial?
Rowan looks at Kian.
Kian looks at Rowan.
That's where we'll end our session for tonight.
Thank you, Neil.
Oh, that's not how I was expecting that to go. That's
I'm so glad. Thank you.
Her eye was on the sparrow. Her mind was on the deaf. But no one cared and no one dared to speak to her of God. Her eyes are always hooded. Her claws are sharp as steel. We teach her not to see too much. Teach her not to feel.
Something is happening today.
Okay.
There is an energy about today.
God.
You didn't listen to me.
Yeah, I know. The stars are falling, you guys. The Guardians are dying, you guys.
Yeah.
We've been